Interconnect cables are one of the most important part of hi-fi audio system, whether you use copper conductors or silver conductors. If you want to squeeze last a few drops out of your audio system, silver conductors and pure silver cables can bring you that. Hello everyone, welcome to Tabama Hi-Fi Review channel. Last month I did a review of ASD silver cables including XLR, RCA and speaker wires. I was impressed the way they can deliver in sound quality. So this time around I'm going to compare three different diameters of very same ASD silver conductors, purest silver conductors that money can buy. ASD is based out of Greece. So since I reviewed ASD wires from end to end last month, price went up a little bit. Please check with ASD for current pricing and fully assembled option. These cables are made of some of the best conductors that are available. So they have all the lab results, that paperwork that I will share with you. According to ASD conductors, that is not even the best batch of conductors that they produce. Even there, all the purity and conductivity and everything is top notch. You can also buy raw cables directly from them. I compare them back to back using Gusted R30 R2 deck to my Accuphase E4000 using those cables, two assembly at a time, because I have two XLR inputs on this Accuphase E4000. I can swap around and only switch the cable on that R30 using with soon to be reviewed Gusted Audio S26 streaming transpo with RON server sound sample. It's going to be very same setup with this S1EX towers in three different type of diameters in these conductors that I have. So I started off with my reference 0.95 millimeter. I listened through it because I'm totally used to that sound signature, revealing rich, well-produced detail and image that it can deliver is unmatched until now. At first, I replaced that 0.95 millimeter cables with 0.55 cables in the R30 and this E4000 connection. I was surprised how much revealing it can sound. Absolute detail and totally revealing sound signature. I was like, no, this is sound great, but I'm not after that kind of sound quality or sound reproduction in my system. Totally suited for like mastering or critical listening when you're doing music production. So that kind of revealing sound quality. I also use that very same cable in my break-in system using with GAN power amps and soon to be reviewed R2R pre-DAC, and sound is incredible. Detail that CSS2 DTX can offer and reproduce like never heard of before, but not in a good way for my ears and my taste. It's totally revealed and it shows the limitation of soft tone tweeters, equipment weakness that total is gonna get revealed. So that is the one thing and most important thing that I would like to remind you on 0.55 millimeter cables, probably most suited to sound engineers in general. Right then I went back to 0.95 millimeter, and right there and there sound that I love, rich and deep sound with absolute resolution with pinpoint stereo image, but not too fast, right? The pinpoint stereo image can improve even more. So I swapped it out to 0.75 millimeter XLR pair out of ASD conductors, and I was like, wow, this is something that balanced out. It's not as totally revealing sound as a 0.55 millimeter, but it delivers engaging rich sound like 0.95 millimeter cables what I noticed is everything is almost as good as 0.95 diameter cables, but it has a slightly tighter bass quality, slightly more precise stereo imaging that it will produce. So those areas are slightly different. Price and everything that they can offer is totally worth it in terms of sound quality, resolution, and everything that it can offer. Comparing all those three silver conductors in different diameters, I would say my favorite is still 0.95 millimeter for precision, refinements, and resolution, and everything that it can give me. My second is 0.75 millimeter, very close to performance and sound quality of 0.95 millimeter, yet if you are after tighter bass quality, slightly better stereo image, 0.75 may be better option for you to choose. And 0.55 millimeter diameter conductors are very revealing. So if you have R2R decks in general, I would say go with 0.75. If you have Delta Sigma decks or all around performance and sound quality, 0.95 millimeter can't go wrong with any systems. So if you want most flexible one, this 0.55 millimeter will be best choice. This is super flexible, as you can see, and 0.95 millimeter is pretty stiff, and it might give you a 90-degree angle if you don't position it right. So 0.75 pretty close to it. This AST silver conductors are probably the best silver conductors for your money as of right now. So that is total recommendation, whether any type of diameter that you're gonna go with. For those of you with tube amplifiers, I would say 0.75 millimeter diameter cables will suit you the best. When I try with my Musician X30, which I'm totally in love with it, replace all X11 and X9 and all that. So this is gonna be my main reference tube amp from now on. So that is incredible sound when I'm using 0.75 diameter cables to this Musician. When I start using silver cables pretty much end to end, aside from digital cables connection all the way to my speakers, especially this S1EX towers, I bi-end them with Accuphase E4000, and bass quality, the depth and deep notes and articulation quality of the bass is like I've never heard of. Sometimes I use dual subwoofers, so many times I end up checking the subwoofer because I want to make sure they are not on. So that kind of bass response that I'm getting with this S1EX towers or even JBL L100 Classic 75th energy and delivery that I'm getting with this combination. So 0.95 is gonna stay with this R30 or any deck that I use with Accuphase E4000. 0.75 is gonna be with this Musician X30, 0.55 millimeter conductors in break-in system. Good quality silver cable can bring the absolute best out of your system. These kind of solid core silver conductors avoid the skin effect thing, because most of the high frequency travels on surface of the conductors. When it does that, if you have a lit wires, the skin effect may make it worse because of the lit wire. When you have this kind of silver solid core silver conductors, that's totally minimizes. So these kind of silver interconnects are must have for every audiophiles, at least one pair of them, because it will totally shows how much more possibility and how much more sound quality improvements that you can experience. So that is my experience using these cables back to back in my system. Totally wholeheartedly recommended, my friend. Thank you for watching and happy listening.